Hello and welcome to Man on Football Manager with me, Dan. Today's experiment, I will give Barcelona a full rebuild. We all know they have been terrible with their finances and signings, so they will have to start from scratch. 0 players, but have a £1 billion transfer budget. How well will they do? Let's transition over to the game now and find out. Catch you in a second. So here we are on the Barcelona screen, and it hasn't changed too much. It's still got Xavi as the manager. However, the captain and vice captain no longer at this club. So when I click on him, he's a free agent, and he is wanted by Man City or PSG on a free. And we've got PK here, 35 years old, and is wanted by no one right now. So who knows? Going to Barcelona, I kind of lied. I said they had 0 players. I completely forgot to get rid of their academy players. So it's kind of correct. They have no first team players. They're all from either Barcelona B or the under-19 squad. But I kind of sorted out their wage bill problem. The most they've spent in wages is £5,000. I dread to think how much the wages were before. Is it like £500,000 per week for a player? I don't know, it might be even more for certain players at that club right now. And as you can see here, and in their bank balance right now, they've only got 800,000, and people are saying, you've got to change the bank balance to be $1 billion. I've tried, it won't work, but it still lets me have $1 billion as a transfer budget right now. They've got a front-end sugar daddy, and the other way I've done it is every season they get a parachute payment of £1 billion too. That should cover everything. And this experiment will go on until they've spent £1 billion. It doesn't have to be one season with $1 billion. I want to know how well they do with their finances. So if it takes them 5 years to spend $1 billion, that's fine. That's when the experiment will end, and we see how well they do. The other notable thing about this experiment is I've got rid of all their debt and loans, so they'll have no backlash for spending this money right now. And I think I've covered everything. I'm going to skip now the first season just to see how well they do and see if this experiment kind of works. I have no idea how this is going to go, so I will catch you in a second. We are at the end of the season now, and I want to show you this screen first. So Real Madrid won the league with 94 points. Coming second was Atletico Madrid with 68 points. That's a huge gap. But where did Barcelona came? They came 8th. They just missed out on a European place, and they were joint 7th technically with 53 points. 13 wins, 14 draws with 10 losses. So let's have a look at their team, shall we? So here are the transfers for this season. They spent £208 million worth of players, and they sold, well, I don't think they sold, that would probably be, the 31.5 is probably from the beginning of the game. So yeah, they got Philip Coutinho here for 17 million, that didn't exist, technically. So let's look at their most spent. It was 38.5 million for Zaha, Lorenzo from Napoli, Piera from PSG. So these are the notable signings this season. I'm not going to go through them all, but feel free to pause and have a look. It's an interesting team that they've bought, and it came 8th, so it's not great, but it's a good start, I suppose. They could have been relegated. Interestingly, they lost to Man City in the Champions League semi-final on aggregate. Can I see this? I can. So this was the team that played Man City and lost 2-1 in the semi-final, and they were knocked out of the Spanish Cup in the 4th round. The Super Cup they lost in the semi-final, and they came second in the under-19s Division 2. You had no reason to care about this one, but I thought I'd throw it out there anyway. So a very interesting first season. I am going to skip now to the 5th season, because if I do it one by one, it's not going to be great. If I skip now to the 5th season, and then potentially the 10th if they haven't already spent £1 billion. But we'll find out. I will catch you in a second. So we are now at the 6th of June 2027. It's been over, I said the 5th season, but it ended up being 5 seasons. I just forgot personally. So yeah, with 5 seasons more, a season more than I expected. So let's check them out. So where we left them, they were 8th. Wait a minute, that says 9th. They were definitely 8th, right? Anyway, the following season they got 9th. Then they got 3rd, and then 3rd again, and then this most recent season they came 7th. So let's check this most recent season. They missed out on a European place again. And they were joint 5th technically, with 67 points. Real Madrid are running miles ahead from everyone with 98 points. So Barcelona, 19 wins, 10 draws and 9 losses. But you don't care about that. You care about their transfers. So let's look at their team. So this is where we left off. So they did spend 221 million. So the following season, they spent only 86 million. That baffles me. So if I just filter this. Kurt Zouma was their most expensive player that season with 46.5 million. And they only got 4 players. That still baffles me. No wonder they ended up 9th. And 1.1 million transfers out, which I suppose would be about right. In 2024 to 25, they spent 112 million. Again on only 4 players. And their most spent was 53 million on Fornals from West Ham. Again, I'm not going to go through every transfer. Feel free to pause and look for yourselves. And 3.3 million out. In 2025, 291 million was spent. And the most they spent was 78 million on Declan Rice. And Raspadori from Napoli, apologies if I've pronounced that name wrong, for 74 million. And 17.75 million out. In 2026, they only got 1 player, and that was Timber from Ajax for 72 million. And then £3.5 million transfers out. So they've still not spent $1 billion. And I've been giving them $1 billion every season. I've made sure of it. Xavi is still the manager. They still have trust in their manager. Their captains have changed over the years. Now, in the history of competitions, in 2025 to 26, they lost to Milan in the knockout stage. And then in 2026 to 27, they lost to Inter Milan in the round of 16 on penalties. In the Spanish Cup, lost in the semi-final twice in a row. In 2025, they lost in the 4th round, and the 2026, they lost in the quarter-final on penalties. The Super Cup, they've yet to win. They were knocked out in the final by Real Madrid in 2025, and then in 2026, they were knocked out in the extra time semi-final. I don't know why I keep showing you the under-19s, but they've won it 3 times. There you go. So they've still yet to spend £1 billion. 3rd is the highest they've got. Can they win the league? We're going to find out shortly, because I am going to skip another 5 seasons, and this will be the final 5 seasons. If they haven't spent $1 billion by then, I am not carrying on. This has taken way too much time. So I will see you shortly in 2032. And we are here in 2032. Thank you for your still watching this video. And if you are and you've liked this video, please throw me a like, subscribe to the channel, you know the drill. So here we are with Barcelona. We left them at 7th. They then got 4th in 2027 to 28th, 5th in 28 to 29, 2nd in 29 to 30, and then 2nd again in 2030 to 31, and then 2nd again this most recent season. They're so close to winning the league, and damn they are as well. They've caught up massively on the points difference between Real Madrid and the rest of the league. They ended 2nd this season with 94 points, 29 wins, 7 draws and 2 losses. 1 less loss than Real Madrid as well, but Real Madrid got the extra win instead of a draw. That's gutting. So they've done really well. So, as always, let's check out this team, shall we? Xavi is still the manager. He's hanging in there. He's trying his best. Declan Rice is now their captain. So let's check these transfers. I left when it was Timber at 72 million, I think. So now in 2027 to 28, 13.5 million. Actually, that might have been the one. 13.5 million in. Only 4 players again. 42.5 million out though. made a profit on this season. So in 2028 to 29, they spent 215 million, and then they 41 million pound out. In 2029, they spent 154 million, and then 44.5 million out. And in the season of 2030 to 2031, they only spent 13 million, well, 13.75 million. So they basically spent 5 million because transfers out. They made 9.5 million on players. And then this most recent season, after giving them $1 billion every season, they don't know. I know it's not technically $1 billion, but they've got a lot of money and they've spent nothing. And they still came second, which is amazing, but still, when you've got the money, surely you spend it. And I'm not used to Barcelona being really good with their finances. They're actually being sensible for once. So I'm trying to total this up. So in the last 10 seasons, they have spent 903 million. Not the billion, but I can't do any more seasons. This is ridiculous. If they're not spending any now, they're not going to spend much more in the next couple of seasons, probably. So let's just have a look at their competitions. Did they win any trophies in this experiment? We know they didn't win the league, but did they win a cup? Let's have a look. So in the Champions League, they lost to Milan in the round of 16 in 2028. They lost to Liverpool on aggregate in the round of 16 in 2030. And then in 2031 to 32, they lost to Porto in the round of 16 on penalties. In the UEFA Super Cup, they lost to Bayern Munich in 2030, so they've still not won a trophy yet. In the Europa League, they lifted the Europa League in 2029 to 2030, beating Tottenham in extra time. Wow. So they've won one cup, they've won one European trophy after 10 seasons with no players. That's kind of an achievement, I suppose. The Spanish Cup, did they ever win it? No, I'm not going to go through all them. They never won it. In the Super Cup, they never won it either. Real Madrid won 3 in that time. And the Euro, and just for the hell of it, in the under-19s, yeah, they won it a couple of times. So they've still got a good academy. So there we have it, guys. Thank you for watching this video. I kind of see it was a little bit of a success. They won a European trophy. They just never won the league. And they spent just under $1 billion, I suppose. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you at the next one.